Shamgar, a lesser-known deliverer of Israel. Shamgar is a biblical figure mentioned briefly in the book of Judges, specifically in Judges 3:31 and 5:6. Despite his limited presence in the scriptures, Shamgar's role as a judge and deliverer of Israel is significant. His story provides insight into the theme of divine intervention through unlikely individuals, and it also reflects the continuous cycle of oppression and deliverance experienced by the Israelites. Shamgar's role as a judge. While the book of Judges provides little detail about Shamgar's tenure, his inclusion among the judges suggests that he played a role in maintaining order and delivering justice during a chaotic time in Israel's history. Judges, in this context, were not merely legal arbitrators, but were also military leaders and spiritual guides. They were called by God to lead Israel out of periods of sin and oppression, often through acts of military deliverance. Shamgar's single recorded act of delivering Israel is significant enough to secure his place among these divinely appointed leaders. Shamgar and the Philistines. Shamgar's enemies, the Philistines, were one of the major adversaries of Israel during this period. The Philistines, known for their advanced weaponry and military strength, often oppressed the Israelites. Shamgar's victory over 600 Philistines with an ox goad not only showcases his personal bravery, but also serves as a testament to divine empowerment. It is through God's strength that Shamgar was able to overcome such overwhelming odds, reflecting a common theme throughout the book of Judges, where deliverance is attributed to divine intervention rather than human ability. Theological significance. Shamgar's story reinforces several theological principles found throughout the book of Judges. First, it exemplifies the idea that God raises up deliverers from unexpected places. Shamgar, likely a farmer, was not a trained warrior, yet God empowered him to deliver Israel from the Philistines. This mirrors the biblical theme of God using the weak to shame the strong, as seen in other narratives like David and Goliath, or Gideon's defeat of the Midianites. Second, Shamgar's use of an ox goad highlights the theme of divine provision. God often equips his chosen individuals with what they have on hand, turning ordinary objects into instruments of deliverance. Shamgar's ox goad serves as a reminder that God can use even the most unlikely means to achieve his purposes. Finally, Shamgar's brief mention in Scripture underscores the idea that even seemingly small acts of faithfulness can have a significant impact. Although Shamgar's story is not as detailed as other judges like Deborah, Gideon, or Samson, his role in delivering Israel from the Philistines is no less important. His example encourages believers to trust that God can use them, regardless of their background or the tools at their disposal, to accomplish his will. Historical context of Shamgar's time. Shamgar appears during a period of Israelite history characterized by the decentralized leadership of the judges. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites entered a time when they were ruled by a series of judges, leaders chosen by God to deliver them from the oppressive nations surrounding them. This era, detailed in the book of Judges, highlights the cyclical pattern of the Israelites falling into sin, being oppressed by foreign powers, crying out to God for deliverance, and then being saved by a judge raised up by God. Shamgar's mention comes immediately after the account of Ehud, who delivered Israel from Moabite oppression. Shamgar's time likely overlapped with Ehud's judgeship or followed shortly after, as Judges 3:31 provides only a brief description of his actions. His story is also referenced in the Song of Deborah, Judges 5:6, where the lawlessness and insecurity of his time are highlighted. Conclusion. Shamgar's brief yet powerful story offers a rich insight into the recurring themes of the book of Judges: God's deliverance, the use of unlikely individuals, and the significance of faith in divine empowerment. Though he is mentioned only in 2 verses, Shamgar's courage and reliance on God's strength in the face of overwhelming odds mark him as a noteworthy figure in Israel's history. His legacy, like that of many other judges, illustrates the continuous cycle of Israel's struggle and deliverance, a theme that resonates throughout the scriptures. A rugged battlefield stretches before Shamgar, dust swirling under the setting sun as the air vibrates with the war cries of the Philistine warriors. Clad in bronze armor, their swords gleam wickedly, their shields raised in arrogant confidence. But Shamgar stands alone, a hardened Israelite warrior gripping only an ox goad, a long wooden staff tipped with iron, meant for driving cattle, not for war. The first Philistine lunges forward, sword flashing. With a swift pivot, Shamgar sidesteps, thrusting the sharpened end of the ox goad into the man's throat. He gurgles, collapsing. The others hesitate, startled by the sheer force of a single man. With a fierce roar, Shamgar charges, his ox goad spinning like a deadly spear. He slams it into a warrior's gut, then whips it around to crack another's skull. Blood sprays. The Philistines regroup, encircling him, but Shamgar's movements are relentless, ducking, striking, impaling. His weapon, simple yet devastating, finds every gap in their armor. A javelin flies toward him. He dodges, spinning low before smashing the blunt end of his ox goad into a Philistine's knee, shattering it. Another swings a heavy axe. Shamgar blocks with his staff, then rams it straight through the warrior's chest. One by one they fall, 600 men meeting their fate at the hands of a single Israelite. By the time the dust settles, Shamgar stands alone, his ox goad slick with blood, the battlefield silent except for the moans of the dying. Shamgar was the third judge of Israel, whose courageous deeds brought a period of peace to the nation, though the duration remains unspecified. His leadership is summarized in a single verse of the Bible. Judges, and after him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. Judges 3:31. The Philistines, a seafaring people residing in Canaan during the time of the Judges, were known for their military prowess. That Shamgar alone defeated 600 of them is an extraordinary, or possibly miraculous, feat. An ox goad, a sturdy wooden rod about 8 feet long, was traditionally used to prod oxen when plowing fields. Shamgar, wielding what might be considered an ancient equivalent of a bow staff, successfully vanquished Israel's enemies. Judges 3:31 does not specify whether this occurred in a single battle, like Samson's exploits, or over multiple encounters. Samson is the only other judge recorded to have demonstrated similar extraordinary strength, eventually overshadowing Shamgar's legacy. Shamgar is also briefly mentioned in Judges 5:6, in the Song of Deborah and Barak. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were abandoned. Travelers took to winding paths. This suggests that during his time, fear and insecurity plagued the land, likely due to Philistine oppression and possibly threats from other adversaries. Beyond this, little is known about Shamgar. He served as a transitional leader between Ehud and Deborah. His story highlights how God used a single individual with a simple weapon to rescue his people from oppression. This account remains a powerful reminder that one person's actions, when guided by God, can have a far-reaching impact. Moreover, it demonstrates how God often chooses unlikely individuals to accomplish significant victories, bringing glory to his name.